going to solve Revolution by FullDeck and Missing a Few Cards. If you would like to solve this puzzle for yourself, it'll be the first link in the description. In addition to that, I will also try to remember to link to FullDeck and Missing a Few Cards website, where you can search their database of puzzles that they and their university students have created. And they also now have a mailing list, so I'll provide a link as to how to subscribe to that. And then you can get a weekly email with puzzles in. With that, let's have a look at the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we're going to place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every box. German whispers. Adjacent digits along a German whispers line differ by at least 5. So if that were a 3, this would have to be an 8 or a 9 to be at least 5 away from it. Kropki pairs. Digits in cells separated by a black dot are in a 2-to-1 ratio. So if this were a 1, this would have to be a 2. If this were a 2, that could be a 1 or a 4. Digits in cells separated by a white dot are consecutive. So if that were a 2, this would be a 1 or a 3. Not all dots are necessarily given, so by the rules, it's perfectly acceptable if that were a 1. If that were a 2, this could be a 1 or a 3 or a 4, even though there's no black or white dot between them. Okay, I am going to restart the puzzle to reset the timer, and let's begin. Okay, this sequence of white dots is interesting because as all of these dots see each other, they must be in sequence. And then this can't be a repeat of anything because it'll see that dot, and that's the only digit that it could repeat. So this is a pure sequence of white dots. Sorry, pure sequence of digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or something like that. So let's have a look at this cell. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I can't put a 5 on a white dot or on a German whisper. Actually, so let's talk about German whispers. And I meant I couldn't put a 5 on a black dot, not a white dot. I can always put a 5 on a white dot, not on a black dot. Okay, so German whispers. I can't put a 5 on a German whisper line because the next digit would have to be 0 or less or 10 or more in order to be 5 away from it, which isn't going to work because they are not valid Sudoku digits. Next, 4 and 6 are a little difficult to place on the line because a 4, the only digit that is adjacent to a 4, try again. The only digit that is 5 away from a 4 is 9. So if I tried placing a 4 here, for example, that would have to be 9, and that would have to be a 9, but they're in the same box. So if the neighbors of a potential 4 both see each other, I can't place a 4 there. Same goes with 6. If I try placing a 6 here, then I'd have to have 1 and 1 in both of those spots. But I could place a 4 or 6 here because those two cells don't see each other. And then the last thing is that digits alternate between above 5 and below 5 along the line. If I made that from 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then tried making that from 1, 2, 3, and 4, the maximum difference would be 3, but I need a minimum difference of 5. Same goes if I try making two adjacent digits as high, the maximum difference would be 3. So with all of that in mind, we can't place a 1 here because that would require that to be a 5, which is not allowed to be for multiple reasons. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't do that because both of those would have to be a 1, and in addition, that would be a 3, and I would have a 3 here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't put a 7 on a white dot because half of 7 and double 7 are not valid Sudoku digits. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seems like it could go, but if I have a 4 here, then that's a 9. and this 9 is stopping that. So we know it can't be 5 because it's on a German whisper. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's not going to work. So I have to go down from a 6. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. That could be a 1. So I can put a 6 there. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. That would make that a 6, but I have a 6 here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. And that could be a 2 or an 8. And obviously I can't put 9 there, but that's 8. But what we also have is that this is now a high digit. And so these are all high digits. And these are all low digits. Orange is kind of a warm looking color, so that's why I use it for high, and blue is a cool color in a sort of temperature sense. So that's why I use that for low digits. So this would be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, or 8. That makes this a low digit. And in fact, it can't be a 4 because that would make both of those 9. So this is the 2, this must be a 6. We've got some digits, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, these are high digits. So let's mark those in orange. These are low digits. Let's mark those in blue. These are low digits. We only have 4 digits that are low in our 9 sudoku digits, so these must all be high. We can mark that one as high as well. Okay. So I do want to be careful along this sequence because these 2 digits don't see each other, and so they could be the same digit. But these digits all see each other, so they can't have any repeats. So this is a maximum of 8 because it sees a 9. So 8, 7, 6, 5 doesn't work because I can't put a 5 there. 7, 6, 5, 4 could work. 6, 5, 4, 3 could work. 6, 7, 8, 9 doesn't work. And I can't go up from 7 and 8. So this is 6 or 7. That's 5 or 6. That's 4 or 5. That's 3 or 4. So 7, 6, 5, 4. Yep, just making sure I've got the right way around. That is 2 or 8. And 6, 5, 4, 3 would make that a 6. Okay. So that's definitely a low digit. That makes those low digits, which makes these high digits. And I was right to be cautious because if that's high, then these two are going to have to be the same. Because if they're not the same, then I've got a complete sequence and there's no way I can go from, even if that were 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, that would have to be low. Okay. So because that's high, we know that those two are the same. But okay, this 6, 7, means that these two digits must be from 1 or 2, because they're the only digits that can go next to a 6 or a 7. But this one is looking down. This is a 2. That makes this 7, and so we can actually fill in this sequence, at least until we get to there. Okay, this is a 1 or a 4 because it's low, and it sees a 3 in the column and a 2 in the box. But if it were a 4, this would have to be a 9, so that is a 1. This is a high digit that's not 9, 7, or 6, so that is an 8. I can mark that as high. This must be high because it sees, sorry, this must be low because it sees all the high digits and there is a 5 in the box. That is all of my high digits in this box, so these are all low digits. And that makes it really easy to see that that one has to be a 1. Now, if this is a 4, these are both 9s. That places a 9 into one of those two. Okay. This is a low digit and can't be a 4 or 1. That is a 2 or a 3. This can't be a 1, so that must be a 4 or a 6. And that 6 tells me it's a 4. So that's a 2. Now, neither of these can be a 6, so they must be a 7-8 pair. That, I don't know which way round yet. That could still be a 1. In fact, it is a 1 because of this 6. Goodness, I am forgetting to fill things in that I should easily know. All right. That still doesn't resolve my 7-8 pair. That is a low digit. So we have 3, 5, and 6 to go in there. That is not a 6. That is not a 5. Okay. That is a 2-3 pair. And I've broken it because I said something daft earlier, which was I said that that must be a I said it must be a high digit because I don't know why I said it was a high digit. That has to be a low digit. I've got all the high digits in the row. Let's try this again. And here's the joys of solving and not paying proper attention. Okay, one of those two is a 5. Right. I know I said that it was low. I said it saw 9, 8, 7, and 6, and that it saw 5 in the box, so that had to be low. But I coloured it high, and then I messed myself up by colouring it high, and then I had 4 highs in the box. All right, let's try this again. 1 is in one of those two because of this one. In fact, that is a 1 or a 3. Okay, that is a 1 because of this 6, and so is that. So that is a 3. That is now a 1, which is low. This is a 9, and so is this because of this 4. That is a 2-8 pair. Okay. Right. this is a 4-5 pair in the row. This 4 means that that's the 5, and that is a 4. So now, by sudoku, 4 is in one of those two, but not that one, so that's a 4, which is low. This is a low half or double 4, so that has to be 2. Six can now not go on either of those, so 6 is in one of those two, along with a 3, because we need a 3 somewhere, and 3 is not a high digit. That is a 7-8 pair. This 2-8 is looking across. This is 7, this is 8. That makes this 7, it can't go up to 9. This has to be 6, and then this has to go up to a high digit. So that's 7, 8, 9. Let's mark those as orange. Let's actually put the 9 in. This 6 is looking up. That's a 3. That's a 6. That's low. That's high. Okay. That is at least a 7, because it can't be a 6 and it can't be an 8. So that's a 7 or a 9. Okay. That is a low digit because it can't be a 5 and it sees 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to color it low properly this time. So that is a 1 or a 3 because it sees 2 and 4. Okay. That is 3 or 4, it sees 1 and 2 in the column. That is 2 or 4, but it can't be a 4 because that would be 9. So that's a 2. That resolves my 8 and 2 here. This is now 7 or 8. This is 1, 3. Can't be a 4 because that can't be a 9. Can't be a 2 because of this 2. All right, this is a 6, 9 pair, and we know the order. That is 7 or 8. It sees a 6 and a 9. That is 7, 8, or 9. That can't be a 4. So that's a 1, 2, or 3. Can't be a 4 because this can't be a 9. It's not a 2. It actually gives me a 1, 3 pair in the column. Okay. This 2 makes this an 8, which makes this 7, which makes this 1. That makes this a 3. That forces that to be an 8. It can't be a 7 anymore. That is no longer a 7 or an 8 by the columns. That's a 9. That's still a 1 or a 2. The remaining cells in the column are low digits. This sees 1, 2, and 4, so that's a 3, making this a 1. That's now a 1, 2 pair. Let's think. All right. I need a 9 and a 2 in this column. I don't think that's resolved yet. What do I need in this box? I need 4, 5, 6. And that is not resolved, amazingly. 4, 5 pair for this row. Okay. Goodness. Ones. I need a 1 in one of those two. It has to be that one. Two is in one of those two by Sudoku. All right. This column needs a 3, 7, and an 8. So the 7 has to go at the top. That's the 3, that's the 8. Case of looking in the right place, apparently. Okay. That is now an 8 or a 9, and it can't be a 9, so that's an 8. And we have 2, 3, and 9 to complete the box, but this one can't be a 3, so that's the 3. That is 2 or 9, giving me a 2, 9 pair in the row. These 3 digits, first of all, that 2, 9 pair makes that a 1 and that a 2. Now these 3 digits are 4, 5, and 6. That's not a 4. This 9 is looking up, making that a 7. So this is a 9 by Sudoku. That's not an 8. So that's a 4, 5, or 6, but not a 6. Eight must be in one of these two, but it's not this one, so that's an 8. Now that can't be a 6 because this is a 6, 7 pair. And that is 4 or 5. That 4, 5 makes that a 6, which makes that 7, and this 6. I'll remove 6 from there, making that a 4, 5 pair. This 3 is looking across at that 4, giving me a 5 here and a 4 here. That's a 5. 2 and 6 are needed in this row, which must be 2 and 6. That resolves my 9 and 2 up here. That is resolved as well. I have a corner marked 2, which I think must have been from, yes, that was from here, so that's 2 goes there. Let's make sure my 2s are coloured and all of my 6s and my 9s doing the right colours. 4s are all blue. All right. So this digit must be a 4. I need a 3 and a 5 in here, which oddly seems unresolved. Okay, I need a 3, 5, and 7. So the 7 is there. That has to be the 5. This is a 3. That's 5. That's a 3. That 5 makes that a 6. This 4 is looking up, giving me a 5 here, a 4 here, a 5 here, and a 4 here. And that was much easier than I was making it out to be, because I went and messed up my colouring, and that's why you need to be careful about your colouring. Okay, yep, I did love the puzzle. That was should be on the easy side, certainly approachable, and I think that this is the right place to break in. But yeah, I enjoyed that, and I almost always enjoy FullDeck and Missing a Few Cards puzzles. In fact, I can't think of one that they've made that I haven't enjoyed. Well, if you like this solve, then please hit the like button. You can subscribe to see some more, and I would love to hear your comments. I'm looking forward to next time. Be seeing you.